always, this is really informal. So if I am demonstrating anything or if you have any questions about anything, please just unmute your mics and jump on in. You can also use the chat feature to make any comments or questions. So this is our YouTube playlist for Edpuzzle. Eventually this slam will be in here as well, but I did create a few short Edpuzzles. So this one is just like, what is it? Why would I use it? How to create them, how to create classes using public Edpuzzles. So I'm going to show you guys all this, but just know that these videos are also here in our playlist. So the first thing I want to just say is Edpuzzle is one of my favorite tools. And I kind of feel like it's not that widely known, partly because of its name, in my opinion, because Edpuzzle doesn't really tell you anything about it or what it is. But basically, it's a way that you can take videos from anywhere, videos that you create using WeVideo or Screencastify, videos you find on YouTube, TED Talks, National Geographic videos, literally any videos, and you can make them interactive, number one, for students. You can insert questions, you can add little notes and comments along the way of the video. You can also trim the video. So if you want to share a video with students, you can actually trim it, which, as we know, is really hard to do in general with YouTube videos or any other videos we find. It's very difficult to actually trim them down. So Edpuzzle is a way to do all of those things. And I'm going to demonstrate to you now. And I think the earlier session this morning, I think people found that this was something that they wanted to start using right away, just because for e-learning especially, it's a really great resource. I think that you hopefully will enjoy as well. So first of all, it's just edpuzzle.com to sign up. And then, like all great ed tech resources, it is linked with Google. So you can sign up with Google. So the first thing you would do, if you're going to have students join and actually be part of a class that you have set up, like an Edpuzzle class, they will actually need to join as well, and they can also sign in with Google. But I'll show you, you don't even have to have students sign up. You don't have to create a class. You can just kind of create individual videos and just share them out as you use them. So no need to actually create a classroom and have the students involved, but that's if you really want, if you want to track their progress and assess their work in the videos, that's why you would have them sign up. So first of all, you would just click on the teacher, and then you would click sign up with Google. I already have an account, so I'm going to go log in. I'm a teacher, sign in with Google. And it'll take me to the sign-in sheet, or to the dashboard rather. So this is the dashboard, and a couple things to note in the dashboard. First of all, if you want to find videos on the web and you don't really care where they're from, but you're more looking for like subject-specific videos, you can just type right in here, search content, and it'll search across YouTube, National Geographic, TED Talks, etc. I generally don't do it that way, but you definitely can. Then over here on the left, you've got, this is your content. So this is all the content. These are all the videos that I've created using Edpuzzle. So you can see that mine are kind of a mix of National Geographic, random YouTube videos. This is one that I'm actually made using WeVideo. I've got some TED Talks in here. So really any video platform pretty much you can make an Edpuzzle for. And then this is what I usually do. I usually interact with a specific channel because I have a preference, like depending on what my content is or my objective. I know for this, I want to use a TED Talk, or for this, I really want a National Geographic video, or whatever it may be. And I'll show you how to do that when we're getting to the video creation portion. But first, I just want to show you how, if you want to create a class in Edpuzzle and have your kids actually be linked, and then you can actually assess their work, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very simple. And that's over here on the top right, my classes. So you can see over here on the left, these are a list of my classes. I've got this master test class, which is one that I imported from Google Classroom, just a Google Classroom class. And then there's this one called NetOp Vision Training. That's not a Google Classroom. It's just one that I created from scratch. So these are two different ways that you can have a classroom. So to add a new class, you click Add a New Class. I can either click Import from Google Classroom, and then I've got all my students, magically imported in there. Or if I don't want to use Google Classroom, I can just add a new class, give it a name, description if I wanted. This classic is if you are going to have your students answer the questions and you're going to grade them and assess them and all of that. If you don't want to do all of that and you just really want to see your students' progress, not a whole lot of analytics, and you don't want them to have to sign up for an account really, you don't want them to have to sign up with Google, you could choose an open class, and then they just have to enter a class code to join. So two different ways of doing this. Again, if you want to have a class where you can track progress and all of that, which is not necessary. Okay, and then let's go back to Edpuzzle. So to create content, so there's a couple of different ways to start working with different videos. The first way is if you have created a Screencastify video or a Wii video or something like that on your own, and you've downloaded it to your computer, right? So it's a file sitting on your computer. You would go My Content, and then you'd click this big blue button, Add Content, Upload a Video. Okay, and then you would just choose your file from your computer, or you can have one that's actually saved in Google Drive. So you don't even have to have saved it on your computer. It can just be sitting in your Google Drive. And so you could just do that. I did that earlier this morning, and it's this one right here. So this is one of these little short Wii videos that I've created about how to do different things. And so this was just a file sitting on my computer, and I uploaded it. And so now it's an option. It's something that I can work on and work with when I actually create an Edpuzzle. Okay. The other way to find content is, like I was saying before, how you can actually choose a channel and then just search within that channel, which, like I said, is what I often will do. So let's say I want to make sure I get a National Geographic video. And let's say I want something on polar bears. So here's all of these videos on polar bears that I can use, and I can trim them, I can add questions to them, whatever, right? Or if I just looked up on YouTube, I could type, it saves my search for polar bears. I've got some Nat Geo ones, but then I've got a whole bunch of random ones from various sources. Polar bear, what do you hear? That's like a read aloud. So just different ways to interact with the channels. So let's say I go back to my National Geographic and I want, let's say I want this video right here. I just click on it. And now I've got a few things that I can do. The first thing, I can just watch it. And so that's just simply playing it. Now, if I don't want to do anything to this video, I don't want to trim it, I don't want to add questions to it, I don't want to change it in any way, I can click Assign, and I can choose which of my classes to assign it to. And this says this is a Google Classroom. I could say it's available today, and then it's due. I could give it a due date if I wanted to. And then so these are a couple things I'll mention now. When we actually start creating an Edpuzzle where we add questions and things to videos, and then you watch it back, the video will actually pause every time it gets to a question, and the students will have to answer the question. But if I have this button turned on that says prevent skipping, that means students can't skip and they can't continue with the video until they answer that question. So that's a really good feature to have turned on. Also, turn on closed captioning. We always suggest having closed captioning turned on whenever possible in any video, just for accessibility's sake. And it's really better for all students, regardless if they have like an identified hearing issue, or if they, just there's different reasons why people benefit from having closed captions. So always have the closed captions turned on. And then you can choose if you want to post it in Google Classroom. So when you assign it, that's what it looks like. I'm just going to stop that. So then the other thing that you can do is just make a copy of it. And then finally, you can edit it. And so this is what we're going to do now, because this is really where the power of Edpuzzle comes in. So if I click edit, it is going to make it's my own copy. So it's not as if I'm editing this original video, and it's like making my own copy. So there are 3 things that I can do when I click edit. I can cut, first of all. So this is trimming the video at the front and the back. I can add a voiceover where it's like my own voice over the image of the video. And then I can add questions. So to do the cut, you might start the video. And let's say I want to start it right here at the 4-second mark. So I'm going to grab this little thing here and make sure it's at the 4-second mark, okay? And then I can do the same for the end. I can, let's say, trim it right here, okay? So now my video is, I'm only going to share with my students the portion of the video that I want to use, okay? So the total new time is 1 minute, 20 seconds. Then if I click voiceover, this will completely replace the audio. So you won't hear any speaking, you won't hear any music, you won't hear anything. You would just hear your own explanation. So somebody this morning was saying this could be great if it's a great video, but it's in English and you need to record it in Polish or Russian or Spanish or whatever. Maybe you don't like the way a math problem is being explained, but you like the demonstration of it. You want to add your own voice over it instead. So again, this will completely replace the sound on the video with your own voice. And then finally, questions. So for questions, you can add a multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, or just a note. So the video will pause and students will read your note. So let's say my video is starting. And then right here at this mark, I want to add a multiple choice question. So I pause it exactly where I want the question to appear. And I click multiple choice question. So I can say, what is the bear eating? And I can say, my different options. I don't even know what it's eating, but you could add as many option choices as you want. I don't know, say a reindeer. And then you can tell the program what's the correct answer. So let's say the reindeer is correct. You have to say pizza is incorrect. So you've got 2 incorrect answers, 1 correct answer. But if you had 2 correct answers, you could say, more than 1 answer is correct. Okay, so let's say reindeer is the correct answer. Then I can click save. And now when I've added a question successfully, there's a little droplet that you'll see right here. That means there's a question or a comment. All right, so then I can keep going. And let's say right here, I could add another multiple choice question, so the exact same thing. Or maybe this time I want to add an open-ended question. So I can say, how is the mother bear helping her baby, get food or whatever. And then you can see in the options, I can make it bold, italicized. I could even say, click here for a survey on how your parents help you get food. And so maybe you hyperlink like a Google form where students have to type in how their parents give them food, or like it's a link to a Flipgrid where the kids have to say how their parents give them food. So you can really make this very robust and very interactive, even beyond the video itself. And then you can even insert an image, okay? So then I click save. Okay. And then I can keep going from there, add more multiple choice questions, more open-ended questions, or I could add a note. So in the note, I could just say, you know, if you're in person, let's say, turn to your seatmate and talk about how other animals find food for their young. Or if you're virtually, let's have a group, you know, discussion about it on a Google Meet or something like that. And again, I have these same options. I could add an image, bold, etc. Save. Okay. And then I can go back from there. So let's say I am finished with all of my questions. I've got my comments in there. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you, for a note, I could type them. I could also record a note instead. So if I didn't want to type something, I could just record it and I could say, okay, everyone, let's talk now together about how other animals find food for their young. And they would actually hear my voice and wouldn't have to read anything. So that's another option. So when I'm finished, I click finish up at the top. And now you can see where it says here on the right, it says to do. So students have 2 questions that they actually have to answer. So, you know, I've got 3 things in there. I've got 2 questions and a note, but they don't have to do anything for the note. So that's why it's not here. So they've got 1 multiple choice question at 5-second mark, 1 open-ended question at the 12-second mark. And then down here, it shows my little droplets. And so if I played the video, you'll see what it looks like for students. So right here, it'll pause the video. And then I'm a student, and I actually have to click whichever answer I think it is. And now if I assigned this, maybe I as a teacher would say they can't skip it. But I'm going to say, let's say it's a reindeer. And I could rewatch it if I wanted to, if I wasn't sure. Okay, so it's even telling me immediately if I got it correct or not. And then I can click continue. And then right about here, it'll pause again. And it asks about how is the mother bear helping her baby get food. She is finding the food and dragging it to her baby, whatever. I could submit that. And it says here, it's to be graded. So it doesn't give me a score right away, obviously. Okay. And then I can click continue. And now again, there's a note. I don't have to do anything, but it tells me I've got to turn to somebody and talk, or if we're having like a virtual discussion or a group discussion, we can talk. And so if you're the teacher and maybe you're just showing this at the head of the class and they're not even using their Chromebooks, but everyone is watching it together, maybe you just have these notes along the way. So it's all a group discussion and turn and talk. But if you are having students actually answer questions, then you would have it, and it could still be real time where they all have it on their Chromebooks in front of them, or it's totally independent and they're just working through this on their own, okay? So my daughter, a few years ago when she was in middle school, she had her math teacher regularly would assign Edpuzzles, and so she would have to watch the video and interact with it. And then the other very cool thing to know about Edpuzzle, which I just feel like is brilliant, and they had to have teachers help in the design of this, but you know, sometimes when you're watching a video and you just want to get to the end of it, you have it running in one tab and then you just click over to another tab and you play a game or you do some online shopping or whatever, just like while the video is running. With Edpuzzle, it knows when you're trying to do that and it'll stop the video. So students then would have to go back to the tab and the video would continue. If they try going to another tab again, it would stop. And you, the teacher, you can see their progress as they go. So they, in order to show that they finished the video, they have to just stay on the tab. So kind of a nice little feature. So, okay. Now as a teacher, if I feel like I need to edit this. It's not quite right. I can edit it, add more questions or change questions. I can also duplicate it, and it'll duplicate all my questions and notes. And then maybe I want to change a couple questions or notes slightly if I want to maybe differentiate it for students who need simpler language, or extend it for students who need a little bit more like higher level thinking questions. So duplicate, same exact thing, but you can tweak it slightly if you need to, or just edit the whole thing, or delete it. Or if I'm happy with it, I can assign it. And again, I've got which class I want to assign it to, prevent skipping, turn on closed captioning, and then post on Google Classroom if I wanted to. And so that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, if you don't want to assess the students, you don't want to track it in the classroom at all you want is for them to go through, answer the questions, but you don't even necessarily need to see their answers, or you just want to have a bunch of notes throughout it, but you don't want to track it at all. You can simply take the link, like literally this link here in the URL bar, copy it. Somebody this morning was saying he might do this for like a soccer video and just have some questions or notes along the way. He's not tracking it at all, but he interacts with his class mostly on Seesaw. So he was gonna add it and send it as a link in Seesaw to his students. And then that's something that they don't need an account, they don't need anything. They can just go work through it. Or you could post it in your Google Classroom, or share it with students any way that you would want to. Okay, so then let's go back here. So on the dashboard, you can see, trending in Illinois, trending in the US, if you just want to kind of randomly look through it. But the other good thing to know is that if you look and search for things in the Edpuzzle channel, you are going to be searching for Edpuzzles that other teachers have made. So if you don't really want to reinvent the wheel and want to see like what else is out there, you would click the Edpuzzle channel, and let's say I wanted to find a good video on fractions, or I could just filter by subject as well. So these are all videos that other teachers have made, and some of them are like kind of the same, different versions of the same video. And then here it says how many questions or comments there are in the video. So let's say I wanted to see this one right here. I click on it, and I can see that there's, a few open-ended and multiple choice, and then also a bunch of comments. So I could just watch it, and I could see, I could even click to see what exactly that question is. So this open-ended question, what is the common denominator? You can skip that. So if you like it, you can actually click edit, and then this gives you your own version. So it's the exact same thing that this person made with the exact same questions and comments along the way. But then you can, do a voiceover. You could add your own questions in addition. And then if you finish, it's kind of cool because here's, let's see if I go back here. If I were to find that one again, fractions, it will show you, where's that one that I just, I don't see the one that I just did, but basically if you click on one, you can see all of these other versions that other people have made of basically the same video. So it's definitely worth exploring because a lot of people have done a lot of work to make these great Edpuzzles, and so you don't always have to like start from scratch and make your own. I think that's pretty much it as far as all the features and functions of Edpuzzle. So does anybody have questions or comments or anything about this, or has anybody ever used it? Like I said, it is one of my favorite tools because it's free. Right now, we do have a free upgrade through the end of the school year with Edpuzzle, But basically, I think all that is really is it gives us access to see what other people in the district have created, like what kinds of Edpuzzles they've created. But this is going to expire, you know, in a couple of weeks. And so I don't know that it's even worth kind of going through the hoops of joining our subscription, because all of the features that I showed you are available in the free version. And the free version is awesome. So if it were me, I probably wouldn't even worry about the upgraded version. But if you're interested, let me know. So yeah, that is it. If you have any questions or anything, and if you try using it and have questions, please let me know. I'm going to, send the CPDU form once more, put it in the chat. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We'll do 2 more Tech Slams next week, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday, and then that'll be, I think, it for the year. So thanks, everybody. Have a good afternoon. And I'll hang around here just